Hey, Solar Kneecaps here, and yeah, we got some two pretty freaking good PO OU battles with a new team I made yesterday. So let's get right to the narrating. I'm fighting Adell, who's a pretty cool dude. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's really good up in the tiers, but whatever. We missed a whole bunch of crud, but yeah, Bronzong and Metagross, and basically here we are. We both have rocks up. I have a reflect up, and yeah, not looking too hot for me right now. But I do have a plan. I'm just kidding, wild space. Anyway, but yeah, I know that since he's at -2 and guessing since he has overheats, probably like a mix, but probably more physical than special, that he doesn't have HP ice. So I'm gonna predict him to predict my EQ and just go for the fire punch. He U-turns and he goes into Bronzong, predicting my EQ, but like for me I go Fire Punch, and since I'm banded I can easily 2-hit KO his Bronzong. So now I'm not looking too bad, both of our Bronzongs are gone, and then he sends in this Gengar, and he scared me away with the HP Ice obviously, because that's what Gengars do, they scare you away with HP Ice. Now I know since this is a bulky Rotom, I can take Shadow Ball, and I can break its sub with discharge because I really just need it so it doesn't have a sub anymore essentially. So I'm just gonna go for assurance because I know that I can take it out with one, and I can take a Shadow Ball, but he switches into this Infernape, and I think it's in Blaze range. I don't know. Either way, the crit probably did not matter because I mean it's still really strong. But yeah, I just decided to switch into Dragonite and lock myself in Outrage because I am adamant, I believe, so I don't know what can outspeed me, but he switches into this Ambipom and he's gonna fake out, but since Dragonite has, what's that, Inner Focus, I'm not gonna get flinched and I'm gonna be able, so yeah, we just had a nice, like, we were just talking and cred. But yeah, he switches into this Gengar, and I predict a Shadow Ball because that's basically all I can do, and I decided to go into Honchkrow, which sadly didn't get to completely show off, but it's done some good damage. But yeah, he has a Breloom, but I know I can outspeed it since I'm max speed and just Heat Wave to the face and just take him out, so that's really nice. Then he switches into this Claydol. I know probably the worst thing he can do is Shadow Ball me, which I know I can live one, and I'm hoping this Dark Pulse will kill it, but sadly it just barely lives and is able to get a Shadow Ball off. But you know, that's okay because it's a double down, and I know with the rocks I'll be able to easily take it out with a Bullet Punch from Metagross. So that's a good game, dude. We'll have to rematch sometime. So yeah, here is another battle. And he leads off with Impaldon. This is Leet. This is two battles we had. I'm not going to spoil it, but we had a lot of battles. This was really close and a really good one. So he has this Fortress, and I know that he's probably going to want to set up rocks or do something like that, but he just goes for the Rapid Spin. I'm hoping that he's just going to try to set up a little bit, but he doesn't, and I just get a Nasty Plot, and he switches. This is really smart. I guess he, from that Nasty Plot, I guess he just knew that, I don't know, but with that Intimidate, I'm not going to be able to take out that Blissey because I do about 75% to a Blissey, which really does stink. So I know he's probably just going to go for the Soft Boil, so I'm just going to set up to +4, do a Dark Pulse to get as much damage as possible. Lucky for me, I do get the flinch, and I was hoping that he'd just stay in just to let it die, but he doesn't, and he switches into this Fortress, and I still do a heck of a lot to it, and it's okay that he didn't die from it because, yeah, I'm not really too afraid of it. So I'm just gonna go for the EQ just to, you know, try to hit KO it, but he switches back into this Rotom, which I forgot about, and he sets up this Reflect, and that is just such an annoying Rotom. But I set up my screens, and then I switch into my Donphan because I want a Rapid Spin, but I know he's going to switch into his Rotom, so I'm going to go for the Assurance. Sadly, it does jack diddly because his Reflect wore off now, but that thing is so freaking bulky that it doesn't really matter. I'm doing 15 to 16 freaking %, so I mean, I'm pretty much SOL trying to take that thing out with the Dawn Fan. So I think I just decided to stay in just to see what his other moves are, and it's rest, which stinks, but at least he's not a sleep talk set, I know, since he has reflect, and probably T-Bolt, Shadow Ball, reflect, and rest, which just, it's so annoying. That thing is really hard to kill, especially since most of my team, he's already took out my physical or my special sweeper, so that kind of stinks. I stay in because I predict him to switch, and I just want to see what he will do. He goes for the waterfall, but since I have the reflect up and since Dawn Fan is just really bulky, I can take that rapid spin, take away all of his spikes and stealth rocks. Now he switches into Blissey, I guess expecting me to switch back into my Bronzong, and I could have exploded on this thing, but everything I have is physical, so I'm not really too afraid of it. And he switches into this Hippowdon, and I didn't know exactly what he would do. He could be luring me to explosion, but I decided to just go for it anyway. He sets his stealth rocks. I get a crit with the explosion. Probably did matter since Hippowdons are really bulky, and it was at full health. So kind of sorry for that, but happens. I know stealth rocks are up still, but I want to kill something. And he switches out into the Celebi, and I checked to make sure that his reflect isn't up, and it isn't, which means I know I can do still a lot of damage to basically whatever. He goes into Gyarados just to get the Intimidate off, and he switches back into Fortress, and that Outrage still does a lot since I'm banded. I knew he would switch into it, but without the Intimidate, I was hoping I could 2-hit KO. I'm predicting the switch back into the other thing, the Rotom, but Gyarados is still here, and it's just kind of annoying me since it's Arrest, Sleep Talking Gyarados with Roar and Waterfall, which is just annoying. I've seen that set before, but I never knew just how effective it was with all the screens. I know that at the health that his Fortress is that I can 2-hit KO it with Outrage, even if it does switch in, so I just go for that, and I do a heck of a lot of the damage to the Gyarados. Now I was hoping that he would Roar instead of Rest here, but he did, yeah, the smart move, and I just went for the Ice Shard. Now I switch back into Blissey, I switch into Rotom, just predicting the Roar so I can, either kill it or he'll go for the Waterfall and I can hit it down. I had a feeling this Blissey was probably toxic since it seemed to be like a toxic stalling kind of team. So, yeah. He goes for the rest, he gets Sleep Talk, but he doesn't have his, what is it called, his Reflect up. So he's in pretty deep trouble because these banded Outrages are going to be doing a lot to him. Like that's 62% to no doubt like a bulky Celebi, so that's really good. And I'm gonna set up Stealth Rocks here, and that's pretty much game because he surrenders because I'm gonna have Stealth Rocks up. He can't get a Reflect up, and that just completely destroys his entire strategy. So yeah, good game lead. He beat me the other time, but that's okay. So